Vaping is so, ooh. Wait, so how many states is vaping bad in? Did I say bad? Sorry, banned. I meant to say banned if I said bad. It's banned in states? Like, I haven't heard of it being banned in states. I know that like some forms of vaping are banned. Yeah, that's what in Washington it's legal. Yeah, it's legal in Illinois too. I thought it was legal in most states. I have not heard about, they will not sell it. They banned any flavored vape juice in Massachusetts. Oh, maybe that's what it is. I know that for a while was nationwide and then they redid it or undid that rule or something. It probably banned like smoking indoors. I know there's been a lot of stuff about flavored nicotine products here. Yeah, no, can we talk about nicotine and vaping and just like, you know what we also need to talk about? Fucking vaping and Zins. Hold on, we should talk about that today. That should be a rant. That needs to be a rant. Why not ban cigarettes? Here's the thing. I'm all for you can do what you want at a certain extent. Yeah, you can't vape indoors in Ireland. You still have to go out in smoking areas. So that I feel like is fair. Yeah, the issue with vaping, like I've talked about this too. If you guys don't know when vaping became a thing or how vaping became a thing, originally vaping didn't exist until e-cigs. It came after e-cigs. So at first, when I was a kid, okay, so, you know, I was born in 97, if you guys don't know. All right, I'm like a zillennial. I'm right in that weird in-between area. When I grew up, we had this program called DARE that you had to do, which, don't get me wrong, DARE did not go about things in a very great method. DARE went down the scare tactic rabbit hole versus just educating you. And I'm not saying you shouldn't show the realities of drugs and things like that, but DARE didn't always do a great job. Because here's the thing, if you just hardcore scare tactic kids, they don't learn and they just want to do things more. So when you do that, a lot of people don't listen to things. And while I knew and I listened to the DARE stuff fully, a lot of kids tend to tune out the minute you start to scare tactic them. Because like the thing you get is like, you get kids eye rolling. Here's the thing, when you're a kid, you're growing up and hormones are going crazy and you become a teen and things like that, you don't want to listen to authority a lot of the time. Not saying that kids don't, but like there's a lot of things where it's easier to make them want to tune you out. And when you do the scare tactic shit, it makes them tune them out because they think you're treating them like a kid and like they can't comprehend and understand things. That's a learning problem in general with the system, or that a lot of adults don't want to hear. A lot of the reason kids don't want to listen to you is because you're not treating them like actual functioning beings with thought. I understand they're not adults yet, but they can comprehend a lot more of what you're saying than what you realize. And so the whole system when teaching and learning or trying to teach kid things, they mess up the opposite. Yeah, and kids will do the opposite if you treat them like they don't understand what's going on. That's why when you go to schools, some of the best principals are the principals that actually understand the kids and treat them like people and not like, you know, I don't know how to explain it outside of just like cutting off access of information and treating them like they don't understand what's going on. Sex and drug education when you were younger was literally just say no for stuff too. Yeah, no, literally, like that's not effective either. It just makes them want to do it more. If you don't tell them like actual repercussions of things and like all that stuff and like let them ask questions and encourage them to ask questions, like that's, anyways, it's a whole thing. With vaping, what happened was that one of the biggest things they taught us, sorry, when we're going back to the DARE program here, jumping ahead a little bit too fast. With cigarettes and stuff, the things they taught you with DARE, even though a lot of kids tuned out, was that cigarette companies paid and lobbied for these companies to help get them off of cigarettes and stuff like that. So if you go track the money for a lot of these companies, yeah, so they would be like, oh, the same companies that made cigarettes and stuff would then go to help get you off of cigarettes with these, you know, nicotine patches, or they would make these programs that advertised to try and help because it made them look better and it was easier to pitch and things like that with the government and just kind of try to make things right, even though most of them were pretty malicious and don't care. So when e-cigs became a thing, e-cigs came around shortly after, and the big thing with e-cigs as they were marketed was to help you get off of cigarettes. And I'm not saying they couldn't help you get off of cigarettes, but they were flavored, they looked like a cigarette, and they were marketed to try to help you wean off of cigarettes. And they were so accessible that you could buy them in gas stations at kind of like any age, from what I remember. I don't believe there was an age regulation on them at first because they technically had they thought they had lower amounts, or they were quote unquote cleaner than cigarettes, so the government wasn't regulating them. And so kids could just go to gas stations and end up buying them, and they had flavors and stuff like that. That was before vaping. Well, e-cigarettes got in trouble quite quickly for that, and so they rebranded to vaping. And I remember when my classmates and friends when I was younger, they were starting to, in high school was when e-cigs were starting to become a thing. And so that's between like 2012 and 2016 in that time frame, or 2011 and 2016. And so anyways, I remember my friends trying to be like, oh, do you want to take a hit or you want to go smoke it? And I'm like, respectfully, no. And I told them, I was like, hey, it's nothing against you. I don't want you to think I'm judging, but I just want you to know that that company is literally backed by tobacco companies and cigarettes. And I would just leave it at that. I was just like, I don't want to ingest that because, and I think you should think about it, that's like, it's concerning because it's the same thing that we learned in Dare, and not that Dare was a great program, but like I literally, when that became a thing, I researched and I looked it up and I did that stuff, which again, a lot of kids don't necessarily go and do. Vaping comes out. Vaping is actually it's like really, really bad. If you guys don't understand how bad vaping is, it's so addictive and so hard to come off of. Like it's really bad. It is really bad. The stuff in vaping, the amount of kids that have like popcorn lung or their lungs like shut down, like it's bad. Here's the thing. Everything has to be done in moderation. Whether it's a good thing or not, because whenever something is ingested too much at a high level, here's a great example. My ADHD meds are technically methamphetamine, if you don't know that. ADHD meds work because it's a little bit of meth that we're handing to ADHD people. If I had that in mass moderation, I'm a fucking meth head. And that's also part of the reason, it is not good for, it's also very addictive, and it's why you should not abuse ADHD medication. And it is also the reason, because it was abused so bad, people like me who actually have ADHD and on the severe end of the spectrum take fucking forever to get medication for it. It drives me nuts when I hear people abuse it and stuff. So yes, meth check, isn't it? Instead of med check now, yeah, right. No, we could technically call it meth check. But anyways, stuff with that is, if anything, you have to be careful because it can very easily go over the stuff. That's the same with what's it called? Fentanyl. Fentanyl is actually used. It's a fucking whatchamacallit, it's an opioid, right? Fentanyl, and they use it, and so people actually kind of freak out in hospitals now when they hear that they're about to give you a dose of fentanyl, and people think they're gonna die because they know fentanyl as people abusing it on the streets. It's a pain. Yes, you have to be careful about how it's used. You have to be careful about how everything is used. So anyways, it's a whole fucking thing. Vaping is so bad. If you vape, and this is even if you do cigs too, but especially if you vape, telling kids it's not cool is like one thing. But guys, if you're vaping because it's cool, or anyone that makes you feel peer pressure to do something is not your friend. They are not your friend. You should not feel judged to do and try something. I'll give you a great example. Dean, I love that motherfucker. I loved that motherfucker. Before he passed away, he vaped a lot. And he offered me to vape, and I said no, and he did not judge me for it. He didn't judge me for it. And, and every here and there, I would tell him, I was like, hey man, I didn't all the time tell him, but every now and then, because the thing is if you do it too much, you're annoying, and you're really annoying and being kind of rude. But there's also you do want to help your friend, right? So every now and then I just be like, yo, you still vaping? You still gonna keep vaping? Shit like that. But I did it. I was careful about the frequency I brought those things up to him. And so the same thing with vaping is to be said. It's, it's easy to get hooked on, and a lot of kids get hooked on it because they're stressed out. Understandably so. The world's very fucking stressful, and they're questioning a lot of things right now. We have AI that kids feel useless because of AI. Kids feel like the world is ending. I feel like the world is ending as a fucking adult right now. Things like that. And so kids are stressed, and it's a lot easier to want to get into these things to try to cope, right? So especially with vaping. So kids are in school, they're vaping, they're trying to sneak in between classes, they're going to the bathrooms. I know there's a lot of schools that have to be careful about letting kids go to use the bathroom because they're meeting up to vape. They get caught vaping. And also it's just the parents are driving me nuts too, because parents are just oh, my kid, they don't care about their kids vaping when it gets brought up. I know there's only so much you can do with kids and monitor what your kids are doing, but man, oh my goodness. Some parents, I feel like parents do not realize how bad vaping is and kind of enable it. Also, the amount of parents that don't reflect that their kid might be vaping because their parenting style is not working, they don't want to address that either. Some parents are stressing their kids the fuck out. I understand hormones are going on, but like when you add the things going on in the world right now and how the school system is and AI and all this sorts of shit, your kid's gonna be stressed. If you don't understand don't work on communicating effectively with your kid's gonna be tempted to do that even more. Like if your kid's vaping, that's like a bigger conversation parents need to be having with their kids. Oh my God, it drives me nuts. I'm just like, God, like parents don't want to self-reflect on things. And don't get me wrong. Sometimes kids, I don't want to say that some kids are irredeemable, but I think we've all met a person or two we've known a few kids in our life. How many of y'all grew up with at least one kid that was definitely off the rocker and they never grew out of it and were fucking wired wrong and weird and weird in the sense of like, they're gonna harm somebody or do some fuck shit. Sometimes that fucking happens. I think everybody could raise their hand on that, you know? Sometimes people give birth to a bad fucking egg and you can't do that. But I'm not talking about, when I'm talking about parents doing things wrong, I'm not talking about those kids. Because there's only so much you can do with those fucking kids, like straight up. You had to have that talk with your cousin. He didn't realize how bad vaping was. No, like they're very uneducated on it. But some of them, like, yeah, they just don't think they don't think it's real. A lot of them don't think it's real. And again, the scare tactic stuff is like done on them. And that doesn't help with things either. I'm a good noodle. So anyways, that to say, vaping is not cool. If you're getting into it because you think it looks cool and it's what people do, I really encourage you to reassess why you're vaping and why you're doing it. Same with the Zen patches. Like, you know, there's so many different ways you can be getting caffeine and stuff. And I know they have nicotine and stuff in them, but like, I promise you there's way better things you can be digesting. And I know this is going to be like a really weird time for a plug. They're better than energy drinks, guys. I mean, seriously, Focus Fuel, or tea or Focus Fuel or V8 energy drinks. I know that's a weird time to plug that, but that's literally part of the reason. It is a good plug, but literally like all this was secretly an no, like straight up, like there are way better things. It's flipped. I know I have my camera mirrored. Otherwise I hit things. I know it sounds stupid. It's like I see it out the corner of my eye and my spatial recognition gets off and it sounds fucking stupid. Also, it just looks better. Chat is always on this side of whatever platform you're on. So it just looks more immersive also with me looking at chat. You know what I mean? Like no matter what game I'm playing, oolong specifically, and totally not because Cruz got me addicted to it. No, like oolong and green tea, black tea. So many different teas have caffeine in them. Coffee like depends on how you drink it and things like that. But like coffee's even better than a lot of that shit. V8, I talk about this, the V8 energy drinks. If you, for some reason, you hate coffee, if you don't want to do Focus Fuel gummies or you don't like them, if you don't want, you're trying to get off of energy drinks, look into the V8 energy drinks. I know that sounds fucking stupid, but they don't use artificial flavors or preservatives in their shit. It's fruit juice and veggie juice. And you're getting your caffeine from that and the green tea that they use in it. And they come in little cans. They come in cans about the exact same size as a Red Bull. They are delicious. Get the one that's purple. Get the blueberry one. V8 is really slept on. I praise V8 all day, every day for their little energy drinks. I discovered it one day at my fucking grocery store and I have not gone back. I promise you there's better things than like nicotine to get you going through your day though. And you do be careful with the caffeine you're having because like, oh my God, a kid, this drives me nuts too. Did you guys see, and I know this is gonna be a little controversial. There was a girl recently that just died from having too many Alanis. She was drinking 6 Alanis a day. 6! And I know I'm going to get, a lot of people are saying sue Alani. Guys, on the back of every drink, there is a serving size. And it shows you your daily values for things. Okay? If I go drink 6 Alanis and then try to sue for any medical issues I have, I'm never going to win that lawsuit because my dumb ass decided to choose to drink 6 Alanis. It also says 18 plus on it. Yeah, energy drinks under 18 kids shouldn't be having. Though I know we've all drank them, right? Y'all aren't supposed to do that. Also, I know people don't want to hear this, but holy shit, is that a failure on the parents? Why were the parents buying her Alanis? They were buying, like, I bet you she was not going to the store and buying packs. I bet her parents, and I could be wrong, and if I am, I'm sorry, and please correct me. But her parents, there's no way her parents were not buying her packs of Alani to drink. Why were you letting your child consume 6 energy drinks? It's known knowledge that if you drink 2 energy drinks a day for like years, it thickens your blood, like literally. So why would you give a kid 6 Alani a day? Yeah, I don't mean to freak y'all out that have 2 to 3 Red Bulls or like 2 to 3 Monsters a day. That shit will thicken your blood over time and it's not good. Yeah, oh my gosh. Was it a heart attack? I'm pretty certain it was something of that nature. I would not be surprised if her liver shut down either, or her kidneys. Like, yeah, it's just like when there's the kid going to the gas station and buying some Alani, and then there's just like encouraging your kid to drink 6 Alani a day. Oh my God. We have a weird problem where people just don't read the serving amount. Also, just like, why are parents letting their kids drink energy drinks, man? If your kid's tired and not getting sleep or getting enough, like, it's probably they're not getting enough sleep. They're probably not getting enough sleep. Yeah, her heart also got enlarged. Yeah, that's some crazy shit, man. You drink 3 to 5 Monster Javas a day. Yeah, I don't mean to freak you out, man, but you really want to rethink that habit. And there's a lot of other shit. There's a lot of other shit in those energy drinks that like anything you can't read or you cannot understand if in terms of what you're digesting, you want to raise an eyebrow to, because it's not good for our bodies a lot of the time. If you read an ingredient and you're like, I don't know what this is. I'll give you, again, not to plug Focus Fuel right now, but this is part of the reason I invested in and I'm on the founding board with Focus Fuel, okay? Is because the product is that good. Chat, I'm gonna read you what is in here. Ingredient list: maltose, organic cane sugar, pectin, sodium citrate, which is sodium, citric acid, lactic acid, and natural fruit juices. Okay? I'm going to read you a Monster Energy drink ingredient list right now. Carbonated water, sugar, glucose, citric acid, natural flavors, taurine, sodium citrate, Panax, ginseng flavor, L-carnitine, L-tartrate, caffeine, sorbic acid, benzoic acid, color added. That color is not color added, okay? Keep in mind, coloring in most countries is banned, okay? There's no, yeah, okay? So niacinamide, which is not necessarily bad for you. That's pretty fucking normal. Sucralose, salt, inositol, pyridoxine, hydrochloride, riboflavin, maltodextrin, and cyanocobalamin. There you go, okay? I don't know what 2/3 of those mean. I would have to look up. I know out of some of those odd words, I know about 1/3 of them. I don't know the other 2/3. I think you mentioned 2 vitamins in there, and they fucking might be. They might be. But yeah, it's just be careful. Just be careful. You may as well have been speaking a different language. You're gonna have to pry the monster from my claws. Hey, I'm not saying you can't drink it. Just be careful if you're drinking more than 1 a day. Also, Derek convinced me weed was going to kill me. No, literally. That shit drives me nuts. They did. They made weed out to be like it was meth. It's not. It's not like meth. Taurine is bull piss. Oh, dude, you know what? I'm gonna go buy a bowl and I'm gonna start milking it every day for its piss, dude. Now, I won't lie. You also should not be smoking weed as a kid or having gummies and shit as a kid, because that stuff does fuck your brain development up. I cannot, chat, I don't know how many, y'all don't need to tell me your age in here, but for those of you that are under 21, okay, your brain doesn't fully finish forming until 25. And I know you don't want to hear it if you're under 21 and you are consuming weed, but here's the thing, okay? Not medically consuming weed, okay? If you're under 21. Very serious talk here. I know we just talked about vaping and stuff. Stuff regarding weed. Please don't consume weed before you are 21. I'm going to tell you this why. Weed becomes a daily habit if you're not careful and you don't leave it as a weekend or a social thing. It is still a drug, just like alcohol. If I drink alcohol every day, I'm an alcoholic. If I drink it on social occasions or on a weekend, that's pretty normal. But if I were to drink alcohol every single day because I rely on it, I am an alcoholic. Weed is the same way. You're addicted to it. If you cannot go a day or 2 without it and you need it every day, you're addicted to it. I cannot tell you. And chat, I'm going to ask for a show of hands here in a second, okay? How many of you grew up with someone in your school that smoked weed so much that they were lazy as fuck, and it very, very, very obviously has fucked their brain development up at the ripe old age of late 20s and 30s, and they have not been able to mature. People do not want to hear it. People don't want to hear it. Is and can be addicted just like anything else when you consume it too much. And it really does. The same people that smoked weed every single day in high school don't grow up a lot of the time. It does fuck up your brain development. Like they will be stuck in that mentality. And the thing is they've done it for so long. If they stop doing that, like, man, they just don't function right. I've never done weed and I'm a lazy as fuck. Myth debunked. Here's a not so fun fact. Nicotine fucks your back up. Do you know that? Nicotine will cause you to have worse arthritis and shit like that.
Hey, it's me again. I'm just here stopping by to remind you to make sure you join the Discord so you can get YouTube video notifications and all that good stuff for when I do merch drops and all that shit.